Good morning.
Good morning.
The potential harms masks can cause to youth outweigh not only the health benefits, but also outweigh the risks to them and the public rather than if they are not wearing masks. I have emailed the school board, and I have the prepared written statements here if anybody wants a copy. Everything stated today is based on legitimate source material referenced and quoted in those documents. The school systems in Sweden and Denmark during the pandemic and still to this day do not require masks. Both have proven that youth are not likely to become severely affected by the virus, nor are they likely to transmit. There has been a low incidence of severe COVID-19 among school children and children of preschool age during the pandemic. There is significantly lower transmission of SARS-2 to children than adults. Child deaths from SARS-2 are rare. Sweden and Denmark have proven all this. Further, there was no higher rate of infection among the school children in Sweden who had no school-wide mask mandate, whose schools were never closed for children under 16, as opposed to Finland, whose schools remained closed during the pandemic. So there was no difference between one that was closed and one that was open with no masks in infections. Considering that Sweden had no mask mandates, there was no additional household risk for the elderly co-residing with children still in school during the pandemic. In Sweden, during school sessions of the 4 months through the peak of the pandemic, that nasty peak they had of deaths, the ICU COVID cases were one child in 130,000. For teachers, risks for being ICU COVID among preschool teachers and among school teachers were just 1.1 and 0.43 respectively. The likelihood of potential harms of masking youths is inevitable. Facial emotional recognition, that's FER, and reading faces in general is considered one of the most primary faculties in the neurodevelopment and to the development of basic psychosocial skills in youth. Since masks cover most of the face, it's not a stretch to conclude that FER, that is facial emotional recognition in youth, it's not a stretch to conclude that it will be ultimately impaired and or damaged as a result of constant mask wearing. If the FER faculty is disrupted, it is linked to psychopathology as both a precursor and byproduct of disorders. Considering that FER is developed structurally through childhood and adolescence, and since masks cover most of the face, then the masking of youth will inevitably impede or damage their FER development. This is likely to cause a spike in mental health care costs Pinellas County-wide, particularly due to the need for a massive volume of potential diagnoses due to such an important neurodevelopment and psychosocial faculty being disrupted in the youth countywide. It's therefore no exaggeration that the consistent masking of children and adolescents will be detrimental to their...
Thank you. You can leave that with the person out there and they'll get it to us.